About those escaped DeKalb County inmates. It's been 2 weeks since they somehow escaped from the DeKalb County Jail, 3 of them, and made their way all the way to South Florida with the help of a Lyft driver who they allegedly kidnapped and held against her will. These are the 3 you see here on your screen. Now, as you can imagine, facing some new serious charges because of what went down the early morning hours of, I believe it was December 23rd, something like that, a couple weeks ago. Jonathan Raymond joining us now here. He's on our web team. Jonathan, you just got done digging into this case and some new federal court documents detailing that trip to Florida.
Yeah, so the 3 of these guys together face one federal case that's new. That's tied to the kidnapping charge. They're alleged to have basically held this Lyft driver against her will and committed several violent acts against her as they drove down to Florida, where they were eventually captured. So that was that criminal complaint was filed just before the new year, and the most recent status on it, and let me check the date on this, was that they have a pre-trial hearing, an arraignment, and a first appearance kind of thing, all tied into one that will be held on January 16th, I want to say. Yes, January 16th.
I tell you, I was thumbing through it this morning as well. It is disturbing, some of the allegations that are in there, some of the details of what this poor Lyft driver went through. She picked them up, I believe she was picking up one of the girlfriends of these guys who ordered it. And then that's when they ordered her, or I believe that they allegedly tied her up at this point, right? Put her in the back seat of the car?
Yes, I think that's my understanding as well. That they were also, choked her, held her at gunpoint, and drove down to Florida.
Do we know what happens next in this case for these 3?
So that's where it gets very complicated, and the sort of legal web these 3 guys have is very tangled in different ways. Like I said, the federal case that's new, that's specifically related to this escape and the traveling down to Florida and the kidnapping is due up next for a proceeding on January 16th. Meanwhile, they each have their own DeKalb County cases, and that's why they were in the DeKalb County Jail.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess the place we can start is with Stevenson Charles. He is the most violent of the offenders. He was in federal custody on a hate crimes charge. He had committed a series of violent attacks against gay men in South Florida and then up in Gwinnett County in late 2022. So he was serving a life sentence on a state conviction in Gwinnett County, and he was also serving the hate crime sentence out of South Florida. So he was, he is locked up forever. But he additionally had in late 2024 a murder charge brought against him in DeKalb County, which was, and I can't speak to why it was delayed, but this was also tied to late 2022. They brought a murder charge against him in DeKalb County. They transferred him from federal custody to the DeKalb County Jail so that case could proceed. Then he escapes.
Wow.
The second of these guys, Yusuf Minor, he was also serving, I believe, life in prison, in state prison, because he had a prior murder conviction in Clayton County. So again, he had I think, armed robbery case in DeKalb that they brought him to DeKalb County Jail so he could go to court in DeKalb County and continue with those proceedings. The last of them, he's the simplest one. That's Nayad Yohannes. He had a arson case in DeKalb County, and everything for him is tied into DeKalb County. He doesn't have anything, at least that I've seen, in any other jurisdiction that is more serious. He was facing his charge in DeKalb County, and again, his court case was proceeding, and then he escapes.
Did we ever get any official word from the sheriff on how exactly this escape went down?
Not to my knowledge. There was another individual. So you mentioned that the girlfriend of one of the inmates helped get them the lift. There was supposedly another guy who helped get them from outside the jail to the girlfriend's apartment or wherever they were meeting with her. So that person, to my knowledge, was going to face some kind of accomplice charge, and As to the actual way they got out of the jail, I'm not positive on that yet.
Because we were looking at some video there a minute ago. You see it here. What appears to be sheets tied together, dangling from a window. But I don't believe we ever got official confirmation from Sheriff's Department officials that that was how the escape happened.
No, to the extent that they described it, it was just that they were discovered missing in the early morning checkup.
Yeah.
Meaning they had somehow gotten out overnight, by tying sheets and climbing down outside the jail. However, that may have fully gone down. But there's nothing in the federal documents or even in the local documents that states to this point exactly how the jailbreak happened. And that goes to another point for these guys, which is it is a criminal offense in Georgia to escape. If you're supposed to be in jail and you're not in jail, that's a criminal offense.
One would hope.
So that will be a charge, presumably, that is added on at some point, but is not yet in any of their records.
Well, I tell you what, the sheriff using this opportunity to say our jail is outdated, we need money for either a new jail or for fixing up the one we currently have. So this story far from over, something we're going to be following for quite some time as these inmates at some point likely make their way back to Georgia. But Jonathan, thank you for breaking it down for us.
Yeah, no
Welcome
problem.
to the Streaming Center. Come back anytime. We got more coming up right after this short break.